Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Hello and welcome to Sports by the Book, the sports betting show live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. It is the final Thursday of October. Week 10 in college football is already underway. Week 9 in the NFL is getting going tonight, and we are one day out from the 2025 Breeders' Cup. We're really excited. Today on the show, myself, Alex White, and co-host Ryan McCormick, we will get to all of that. We will break down tonight's game against the Ravens and the Dolphins. We'll also touch on 11 NHL games, and we'll recap yesterday's action. But before that, Ryan, we have a very, very special guest that we are both very excited about because we love our hockey, and plus we'll get some pony picks as well. So let's bring in the co-host Ryan McCormick as he welcomes in our special guest.
Yeah, so we've got Pucks and Ponies action for you today, bringing in a 16-year NHL veteran, Stanley Cup champion, a man with over 1,000 games played in the NHL. You see him on TV all the time on NBC and TNT, talking pucks and ponies. Mr. Eddie Olczyk.
Hey, what's up, Rye? Alex, nice to be with you from, 71-degree, beautiful La Jolla, California, and getting ready for the Breeders' Cup, as you both mentioned. I'll be doing part of the coverage for Peacock USA under the NBC family of networks, and looking forward to a great 2 days of racing. It's our Super Bowl for anybody that maybe isn't into the ponies part of the equation. So really looking forward to being a part of the Breeders' Cup, and we might be able to maybe lead some people in a good direction when it comes to maybe getting their bankroll up a little bit for some exciting sports action this weekend. So it's great to be with you both again, and I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Well, we know your time is valuable, but we are excited to pick your brain about both the ponies and hockey. Now we have about a month in. Let's just start right there. Yeah. After a month, are any surprises for you, good or bad, with some of these teams?
I just pulled up the standings here, Alex, just to kind of take a quick little look here. I mean, when you look at the specific, conferences or whatever, I mean, you see Montreal right up at the top. You have the Devils that are off to a terrific start in the Eastern Conference. How about the Utah Mammoth? I know that they lost their first game in a while the other night in Edmonton, where the Oilers got their game going here recently, but they've had a tremendous start. But I think for me, it looks like, the Vegas Golden Knights, it seems like the path is going to end up going through Vegas at some point. They just look like they have the depth. Jack Eichel is playing absolutely incredible. Mitch Marner has been everything and then some with the Vegas Golden Knights. So I think there are a lot of great stories so far. Any surprises? No, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, like the Rangers have gotten off to, not a great start. The New York Rangers, that is. And you know what? They went to first 3+ games without even scoring a goal in any home game. So I mean, I think that's a little bit surprising, but they bounced back in a really good way. I think the other night by beating Vancouver. I think they beat them 2-0. So nothing out of the ordinary. But I think what it shows is that, at least as far as I'm concerned, I think in the Western Conference, I think it's Vegas. I think it's Colorado. I think it's Utah. And then in the Eastern Conference, I think you can make a case for 9 or 10 teams.
Yeah.
And I got to include one of my old teams, the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are off to a terrific start. I know they lost the other night in a shootout to the Philadelphia Flyers, but I think the season is off. But I think you can make a case for a lot of different teams, especially in the Eastern Conference.
Well, let's go back to the Western Conference really quick. You kind of set me up there with the Vegas question because I know you played in Toronto. I'm curious how crazy the media and expectations really are, and if you believe this move was good for Mitch Marner's career and a good fit for both sides.
Well, I mean, he controlled everything, Alex, because he did not re-sign during his last year in Toronto, and then there were rumors that have been, at least to me, have been verified that they did go to him and ask him if he would, waive his no movement clause and to be on the trade block in a couple of different situations. So I think the writing was on the wall, and he controlled his own destiny. I mean, I think more than anything else, I'm a little bit surprised, and I know why he did it, because he got an extra year in his deal when he agreed to a sign and trade deal where, the Leafs had him and then they signed him and then they eventually moved him to Vegas. So I thought it was a brilliant signing by Vegas. He wanted to go there, which certainly helps the situation. He was playing in his hometown. I mean, I played in Toronto. I played in my hometown in Chicago for 5 years of my 16-year career. So there is that pressure of wanting to do so well, where sometimes maybe it just has an adverse effect. But, Toronto is a different animal. And right now it's probably, in the hockey world, it's probably an easy place to play in Toronto right now, because I think anything anybody's only thinking about and worried about is one thing, and that's whether or not the Blue Jays can punch their ticket to another World Series tomorrow night at home against the LA Dodgers. So I think it's been an outstanding move by Vegas. And look, for Toronto, I know they're a little bit banged up right now, Alex, but to me, the biggest question mark I have is can they generate and finish off enough offense without a guy like Mitch Marner? And I think it's been spotty at times so far in the season, and we'll see if they address that anywhere in between now and the trade deadline coming up post-Olympics in early March.
Well, Eddie, one team I'm curious on, and you didn't really mention them at the top of the Western Conference, but they did win the President's Trophy last year in Winnipeg, and they added a pretty key piece, one that you're familiar with, the former captain of the Blackhawks, Jonathan Toews. What does that addition mean to that locker room and kind of the playoff presence that he adds for that team?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt that they're one of the top 4 teams in the Western Conference. And when you do bring in a guy like Jonathan Toews, who I know not only professionally but personally, he's probably playing a little bit higher in the lineup right now, just due to some injuries within the Winnipeg Jets, especially at the center ice position. I know Lowry has been out, so I think that he's probably playing a little bit higher and probably playing a little bit more than I think they thought initially. But Winnipeg is, I mean, they got a couple of the top players in the league in Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele. You have some great defensemen on the back end there, and Josh Morrissey, and then you bring in a guy like Jonathan Toews that I think will not only help on the ice, but he hasn't played hockey in 2.5 years. Right. So I mean, the guy's going to need some time to kind of get his legs under him. And I think they actually play Chicago tonight, which will be the first time that Jonathan Toews will play against his former team, where he made his he made his career in Chicago with those 3 Stanley Cups, as you both know. So Winnipeg they're one of those teams for sure. Now, are they going to win the President's Trophy this year? I mean, probably not, but for them, they're just worried about playing their best hockey once they get to the end of the season and into the playoffs and try to make a little bit of a longer run. And, having played in Winnipeg, and I'm still looking for their first Stanley Cup, the expectations are high and have been high there for a while, but just unfortunately for them, they haven't been able to, to get over the hump. But the addition of Taves, I think, will be felt more so towards the end of the year and into the playoffs than maybe, right now. But I'm sure that's going to be an emotional game for Jonathan Taves to play against his old team in Chicago tonight.
Well, that is the other team that I am curious about on the other side of that matchup. The Blackhawks did go young. They have a bunch of guys under 25. And I know earlier in the year you were enamored with Frank Nazar. What do you see? The Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar in a post-game presser talked about they didn't want to win 3 years down the road. They want to win now. Can they win now?
Yeah.
And are they building a new dynasty in Chicago?
Well, I don't know if they're building a new dynasty, but they certainly, I think, are building the right way. And you mentioned the two young players there in Nazar and Bedard. They're building around that team. They got Rinzel on the back end as well, who is a big defenseman. It's looks like he's got some really good offensive instincts. So a real positive turnaround here for the Blackhawks, off to a great start. Let's give some credit to their new coach, Jeff Blashill, who I know very well, have known for a long, long time. He was in Detroit for a handful of years. He worked under Mike Babcock. He worked under John Cooper in Tampa Bay. So he's had some unbelievable tutorship with guys that have had great success in the National Hockey League. And, let's give him credit. I mean, they're playing well for him, and he's getting a lot out of their veteran guys. They got great veteran leadership there, and a guy like Nick Foligno, who is their captain. So they're one of the surprises too. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people thought that they would be a couple of games over 500 and playing as well as they have. But let's give Spencer Knight some credit too. He's gotten off to a terrific start and a really good acquisition. Last year by Kyle Davidson, their general manager, and to bring in a guy that looks like he's going to be a number one goaltender for a long time. So. The Blackhawks off to a terrific start, a little bit of a surprise, but let's see how long they can take it and how far they can take it. And, when you've got a young team and you're playing well, you think you could beat anybody on any given night. And they got a tough task going into Winnipeg tonight.
Well, and speaking of young teams here, you brought up Utah and the Mammoth. They've got a young owner, a young team, a lot of good energy around the organization right now with the move.
Yeah.
And now they're off to a good start too. 8-3. Is that sustainable over the 82 game season?
Yeah, I don't know about the 8-3 going every 11 games and winning 8 of them, Alex. But I expect them to make the playoffs. I think they are that good. I think they have a terrific coaching staff there, led by Andre Tourney. They got some of the better young players in the entire National Hockey League. Their defense is really good. Karel Vermelka is an outstanding goaltender. I expect this team to make the playoffs. I do. I think the pressure is on there. You mentioned Ryan Smith, the owner. I think that there's great expectations and pressure. But I think they like it. They had a good year last year. They played some meaningful games, Alex. But now they're expected to make the playoffs with some of the moves that they made. They picked up J.J. Peterka in the summertime from the Buffalo Sabres. That is added to their offensive depth. For them, they just need to stay healthy. If they stay healthy, they're a dangerous team. They're without a doubt. I would be very, very surprised if they do not make the playoffs and have home ice, because I think that they're that good of a team that they can make a serious run when they get to the playoffs.
Well, you mentioned the home ice. The Mammoth have yet to lose on home ice so far this season, and the only other team that can say that is on the Eastern Conference in New Jersey. The Devils are also 4-0 at home so far this season. Are they the real deal? Can they win the Met?
Yeah, I think they can. I like their team. They were so banged up. They have been, Ryan, as you know, the last couple of years. They just can't seem to stay healthy. And the most important guy there, without any hesitation, is Jack Hughes, who's off to a terrific start. He will be playing for Team USA over in the Olympics in Italy in February. And by the way, I'm lucky enough and honored enough and privileged enough to be able to go over to the Olympics and work for NBC. I will be doing the Olympics for NBC, and cheering on the red, white, and blue. I am an alum of USA Hockey and the Olympics back in 1984, which was well before both of your times. So you can go on that World Wide Web thing and look it up if you don't believe me. But I think at the end of the day, we're really looking forward to the Olympics. But getting back to the Devils, Jack Hughes is really the key there. If he can stay healthy, there's no doubt that the Devils, I believe, can win the Metropolitan Division and make a run in the playoffs, because I think that their goaltending, when it's on, I think is very good, and they're healthy on the back end, and they've got some guys up front that can play a couple of different ways. So if we're doing the buy or sell game, Ryan, I'm buying the New Jersey Devils. I believe in what they got going on. Now, they are going to have a situation where, they're going to go 5 or 6 games where they don't win a game. I mean, that's just the reality of playing an 82-game schedule. How does Sheldon Keefe, their coach, respond to that? How does he react to that? And do the players respond to how he reacts when they're in a tough time right now? Because look, it's easy to play when you're going good. It's easy to play when you're putting pucks into the back of the net. It's easy to coach when you got a team that's doing everything the right way. But all of a sudden, when the skate is on the other foot, how does everybody react? That will be the determining factor on how the Devils move forward.
Very good. I think this is going to be the loaded question here. You brought up the Atlantic, and it is just such a competitive, highly contested division. I'm curious who you like to end up on top. And the second part of that is this the year that the long playoff runs and the injuries finally catch up to the Panthers, and we see another team on top of this division this year?
Well, I think for Florida, they just want to get in, like just get into the playoffs. And if you do, and again, I think Matthew Tkachuk has a very good chance of getting back at some point. We don't know about Sasha Barkov. Like that's a big, massive hole. I don't think there's any team that would get into the playoffs and sit there and say, we'll take on the Florida Panthers. Like, we feel confident, right? If they had Barkov, I would say, look out, because they've proven it doesn't seem like they've slowed down at all. That's a massive loss to not have, Sasha Barkov for the Florida Panthers. I know they're 500. They've had some guys banged up. I know Brad Marchand has taken some time away from the team for a personal matter. Montreal, I saw them the other night in Seattle. They're very good. I don't know if they can defend enough, to win the division. Detroit's been very in and out. They've had some good stretches and probably more so better stretches. I don't mind their team, but again, is can they defend? Can they defend enough? So I think the Metro is absolutely wide open. Like, Tampa, to me, is like, I think Tampa should be better than they are. They've proven it in the past, but I still think that they're probably short. They're short a defenseman. Now, do they have the cap space? I'm not sure. If they can add a defenseman somewhere in there and take a little bit of the pressure off McDonough and Hedman, that would be absolutely large for them. So I would look at it right now and say, if Tampa can work the salary cap and maybe add a defenseman, that they might be the team that, maybe is flying under the radar right now. But I think, Alex, the initial heart of your question with Florida is, if they get in, look out. I wouldn't sit there and say that, they're going to be an easy out. But without having Barkov, I'd be hard pressed, honestly, to say that I could believe in them to make another run without their top center iceman. That would be a big ask, considering all of the hockey that the Panthers have played, but then also adding in the Four Nations last year, and then they're going to have 5 or 6 guys, or maybe even 7 guys, going over to the Olympics in February and representing their particular country. So Florida, I'm still buying, but I'm not as confident as I have been in the past, obviously, because of all the injuries. But for them, it's just get in. It doesn't matter if you're second in the division or you're the second wild card. Just get into the playoffs, and then they'll take their chances.
That's right. You can never count them out. And I'm going to go back to the West because we skipped 2 teams that are pretty important here. And one of them played Florida the last 2 years in the Stanley Cup championship there. But Connor McDavid, he took the team-friendly deal. Now, what do you think Edmonton does with that, and do they shore up their goaltending issues?
Oh boy, I don't know what they can do when it comes to the goaltending aspect of it. Stuart Skinner's gotten him to he's helped getting there to to the Stanley Cup final the last couple of years. So obviously he's done something right. I think that there is enough there to say to everyone that he does have the ability to help his team get to the Stanley Cup final. Now, is he going to be able to put him over the hump until somebody does? I mean, I'm not comparing, please. I'm just going to use the situation of, remember a couple of years ago before Alexander Ovechkin won the Stanley Cup with the Washington Capitals, everybody questioned Ovi whether or not he could win, whether or not he could get his team to the promised land. And it's the ultimate team game. So you need help. Like when your goaltender isn't playing well, you need your best players to step up and find ways to win games the other way. And when your offensive guys aren't doing the job, you need your goaltender to be seal proof. Like you got to win a game or two. And has Stuart Skinner helped the Edmonton Oilers win a few games? Absolutely. So I think the goaltending is good enough. If there's somebody out there, Alex, that maybe is available and you have the ability financially and cap-wise to be able to make that move, then feel free. But I still think that they're probably short some help up front, and I still think that they're probably short on the back end. If it was a priority, I would look more up front than I would look on the back end, because I do like some of the guys that they have on the back end, and I don't know if they're able to move maybe somebody with a large contract there. So still a dangerous team when you have two of the best players in the world in McDavid and Draisaitl. But I think it's a fair question and statement to say is that, do they have enough to get back, and do they have some holes, and do they have the ability to be able to fill those holes? And I think we'll find out in a couple of months, that's for sure.
Well, and there's one other team, which I don't want to say that they are undervalued because they are one of the favorites to win it all. And Nathan McKinnon is the favorite right now to win the Hart Trophy this year. But I feel like people have forgotten about the Colorado Avalanche. And for me, I feel like they are one of the most complete teams. They've got a pair of goalies. Now we've seen it from Wedgwood, like we saw it from Mackenzie Blackwood last year. So you think this team is really dangerous to make a run this year?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned earlier, like you have Vegas, you have Colorado, and I think that you're going to hear from one of those two teams without any hesitation. To me, I like Vegas just a little bit more, but Colorado, I mean, they've got it all. There is the pressure there to take that next step and get back to where they were a couple of years ago. I will be in Denver on Tuesday night for TNT. I'll be covering the Lightning and the Avalanche. It's the second half of the doubleheader on Tuesday night, so hopefully everybody will tune in. It should be one heck of a game. I mean, Colorado, they're quick. They play offensive. Tampa, they're quick. They play offensive. So I think there'll be a lot of chances. I don't know if the goaltenders will cooperate, but I think there's got a chance to have a few crooked numbers on that scoreboard. And when you're broadcasting and analyzing a game live in a building, I love wearing out my crayons because that means there's a lot of pucks ended up in the back of the net. So I think we got a chance to have a nice high-scoring game on Tuesday night in Colorado. But, Alex, yes, long-winded Colorado, no argument for me. When you have Makar and McKinnon, two of the best players in the National Hockey League or even in the world when it comes to the game of hockey, they're a dangerous team as long as they can stay healthy as well.
The Avalanche also inked Martin Nakis to an 8-year, $92 million extension this morning. So three guys getting huge deals there in Colorado.
Yeah, so he's averaging, what is that, really quick, like 11-1 or 11-2, looks like probably 11-2 cap hit. So that's what we call, you can ask your dad, Rye, what we call back in the day in Chicago. That's a lot of fresh powder there for Marty Natchez. Yeah, that's some fresh powder there. So, yeah.
Very nice for him. Well, we'll scale things down. We'll go to tonight. We asked for our viewers' thoughts of which of your former teams will cover the puck line. So Penguins plus the goal and a half in Minnesota, minus 170. The Hawks getting the goal and a half in Winnipeg, minus 130. The Rangers getting the goal and a half in Edmonton, minus 180, and then the Kings minus the goal and a half. The only one you're getting a plus price on at home against Detroit, plus 175.
I don't like how the Wild are playing. I like how the Penguins have been playing. To me, that just sticks out. That sticks out like a sore thumb. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Penguinos. I'm gonna say that the Penguins have a heck of a chance to go into Minnesota, and let me phrase it the right way, and keep the game more than close in favor of the Penguins. How's that? All right.
Love it.
The market has not caught up on how good the Penguins are playing. Ryan and I have been talking about it a lot and taking some plus prices there with them. Let's get to the Breeders' Cup, though. You started off by saying this is you guys' Super Bowl. We're excited. Ralph Sirocco has a special coming out today. So, you know, we love the ponies here at the South Point. Let's start with tomorrow, day one. We've got the 2-year-olds. Is there any races you're looking at or any horses?
Yeah, I'm going to go. It's the big race of the day, Alex. Tomorrow it's going to be race 9 at Del Mar, one of the handful of Breeders' Cup races tomorrow, and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile going 1 1/16 on the dirt. The big favorites are going to be more to the outside. It's going to be number 7 Brant for Bob Baffert and number 8 Ted Noffey, who will probably be the favorite. Is the 4 to 5 morning line favorite in that race, but. I would have everybody take a look at number 2 Blackout Time, who ran against the favorite Ted Noffey in their last race back in October at Keeneland in Lexington, Kentucky. The particular part of the track for Blackout Time, number 2 in race 9 at Del Mar tomorrow, the particular part of the track that he ran on wasn't the great part of the track that particular day, meaning is that horses that were down on the inside, in my opinion, for the majority of the race, really were running up against it, meaning is that on the inside they were more running uphill and more in the middle of the track or the crown of the track. On the outside, they were running kind of more flatter surface or on a conveyor belt. Again, that's what I saw on that particular day at Keeneland on October 4th. So with being Ted Noffey and Brant being the 2 favorites, I'm going to look for a horse that's going to be maybe 5 to 1. Maybe 6 to 1, just from the aspect of not beating Ted Noffey in the last race, being the 3rd favorite where you have 2 heavy favorites, but Ted Noffey will be the favorite. So I think the value in race 9 tomorrow on Friday at Del Mar in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, race 9 will be number 2 Blackout Time.
Eddie, I'm curious about one of the races on Saturday, going to the not necessarily the championship, but going on the turf. Essentially on Saturday, we have 2 different horses that are competing to be the 7th horse ever to win repeat as a Breeders' Cup winner. But Rebels Romance is competing to be the first horse to ever win 3 times in the Breeders' Cup on the turf. 2022 in Keeneland and 24 last year at Del Mar. Is he kind of is that the runaway racehorse, or is there value on the turf there?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is, as you see here, I feel like I'm back in school here where I had no idea where in the heck any of my homework was. If kids even do homework anymore, they probably do it on their iPad or whatever AI. Computer or whatever. So, okay, that's right. So, anyways, I do have the race that you're talking about. So that's race 8 tomorrow. The Longines Breeders' Cup turf going 1.5 miles. Rebel Romance is an extremely quick horse, Ryan. Loves to get to the lead. Let me just give you, this horse is 7 years old, by the way, a gelding, and I can speak to that, by the way. He's run 29 career races, Rebels Romance. He's won 20 races. He's made over $14 million. Obviously, he can't go to the breeding shed, right? I mean, we know that. So you got to run him, and he loves to run, and he's going to be out there winging it. But I do believe is that, you know, there is some pace in this race. And I think the faster they go, it might prohibit Rebels Romance. Like, I picked him last year, and it was a great price. He was just shy at 2 to 1. This year, I don't know what he's going to be honest with you, because I think there's some other speed in this race. But I would probably say more no than yes. Ryan, on your question is, can he get it done again? I think I got to use him because I think he's that classy of a horse. But I would say in that race there, I think you want to look maybe for, maybe look for a closer, look for somebody that can maybe come off the pace and pick up the pieces. So I would say that one of those horses would be number 3, Amalek from Great Britain, a horse that I think can sit the trip, a 3-year-old that is improving. And the faster they go, I think it would be better. So, but I think to answer your question is I think you got to use Rebels Romance. But as far as on top, I don't think that the race sets up as well as it has in the past for him. So love to see those geldings doing well, but is he going to get win number 21 in his 30th career start tomorrow? My answer is more no than yes.
Okay.
Well, let's talk through the Breeders' Cup Classic a little bit, and if you don't want to give out your pick just yet, we understand. But 6 past champions.
Hey, we're here. I'm here, Alex. I'm here to divulge. So if you want it, I got it for you. How's that?
Yes, please. Okay, so everybody's really excited about this with the 6 past champions. It's unfortunate that we did have one scratch with Sovereignty, but who are you liking in this one? There's a lot of great names, and I think even us that just barely follow know these. I mean, Fierceness and Sierra Leone, and should be a great race here.
Yeah, it is. You have a competitive race. It is bad that Sovereignty has fallen ill. I think he had a temperature of some sort, but it looks like he'll live to fight another day, which will be great because he's a special equine athlete and ran obviously incredibly well. Winning the Kentucky Derby and then winning the Belmont, the Jim Dandy, and Travers. So I was going to bet the rail horse Fierceness regardless. I think the race is going to set up for him perfectly. He's run 2 of his best races at Del Mar, which are absolutely, it's key. He's proven on the track. He ran 2nd last year in the Breeders' Cup Classic in a really a fastly run race. I think he can be tactical. I think the 4-horse Contrary Thinking will be out on the lead, loose on the lead, ensuring a quick pace. And I think that if Johnny Velasquez, the jockey for Fierceness, can keep him to the outside of Contrary Thinking, I think he can get a perfectly stalking trip. And then once they get to the far turn, start making that move. I don't want to go too inside horse racing here, but I do want to let people know when they are watching the race on NBC, you'll be able to see myself and our team with the coverage on Saturday. The race is going to go off about 6:25 Eastern, 3:25 Pacific, if I'm doing my math correctly, is when you hear our race caller, Larry Colmus, mention, because they're going to go 1.25 miles. He will mention a number. He will say 3/4 of a mile in, and then he'll give a time, a clock time. If you hear anything in the 1:10 or faster, if he says 1:09 and 4, if he says 1:10 flat, that will be a indication to people out there that will say that, wow, these horses are moving pretty quick. So you should look for horses that are maybe coming a little bit in behind. Now, when they give that time, it's the lead horse that makes that time. So it might be Contrary Thinking. That's at 3/4 of a mile, 6 furlongs in 1:10 or 1:09 and 4, whatever it might be. So the faster they go, in horse racing and handicapping, you would think that horses that will be able to come from off the pace to be able to do it. I think Fierceness will be just off of Contrary Thinking. I think he gets to jump on everybody else and beats them to the finish line. That's all I'm saying. Now, he's probably going to be the favorite. I'm hoping for 5-2, which you bet 2, you put 7 in your pocket. That's not a bad return in a, 9-horse field. So I'm going to use Fierceness, and I am going to use number 2, Baeza, who it seems to be coming to his own. Unfortunately for him, he's run against Sovereignty and journalism over the course of, 4 of his last 5 races. But he seems like he's improving. He's run 7 times this year. He's hit the board all 7 times. He's made just shy of, he's just made over $1.5 million. So a lot of my wagers are going to be around the 1 Fierceness and number 2 Baeza. But my pick is going to be Fierceness. I know he's the favorite, but sometimes you got to take what the track is giving you, and I just think he gets the good trip. And I know a lot of people are talking about the Japanese horse Forever Young, who ran last year in the Breeders' Cup Classic and finished 3rd in behind Sierra Leone in fierceness. But until a Japanese horse comes over and wins the Breeders' Cup Classic, I'm probably going to use more underneath than anything else. So I'm going to stay with the red, white, and blue of fierceness, and we'll see if we can maybe 1-2 buckle your shoe and maybe give everybody a little bit of an exacta in the big race, the 9th race on Saturday in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Love it. Exacta right there for you, and going with fierceness in this one. So you said you'll be on the broadcast on Saturday, but you're already there.
Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday.
I thought maybe you got to just enjoy the races tomorrow, but you'll be working.
Yeah. I enjoy it.
That's right.
And I also am. There's a big tournament going on. I qualified for the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, the BCBC. And there's a few bucks on the line, so I will not only be working, but I also will be playing in the tournament. Which, as Ryan could tell you, Alex, I'm not very tech savvy, and I'm not very good to be able to. What is that called? Multitasking? Is that the proper terminology now? But I got a shot at some big money, so I'm going to take a shot, and I'm going to play in the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, and hopefully be able to do myself proud in a tournament with some of the best handicappers there are in the world. So looking forward to that on Friday and Saturday.
As someone who does quite a few college football contests, I'm rooting for you. I think we all are here. So we'll be watching tomorrow and Saturday, and then next Tuesday, the Lightning and the Avs. We'll be following your broadcast there. So we appreciate your time. Thank you so much, everybody. Hall of Famer, U.S. Hockey Hall of Famer, Stanley Cup winner, NBC and TNT commentator, Eddie OLCZYK. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. See you, Ryan. Say hi to Dad for me. See you, pal.
Will
Take
do.
care.
Thank you.
There he is. Ryan, thank you so much for setting that up. Family friend of Ryan McCormick. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we will go through the 11 hockey games. We want to hear from you guys what you guys thought with the poll. We have Thursday night football as well, and 2 college football games tonight on a Thursday. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Sports by the Book.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Welcome back, everybody, here at Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Alex White and Ryan McCormick with you. It's always tough to follow those great interviews after Eddie OLCZYK just dove into all of hockey with us, really looking at each team and each division. So really grateful for him and some pony picks. If you want more pony picks, which I'm sure you do, 3 p.m. today, there is a special Race Day Las Vegas with Ralph Sirocco and company. He's got a lot of great guests that will give their picks as well. I'll stop in and try and pick a winner as well. But thank you for being with us. Hopefully you jumped in with the poll question. Eager to hear what everybody has to say. But Ryan, we got to start off with another great win for you yesterday with the Toronto Blue Jays. I thought it was a Dodgers spot. I was wrong, and maybe that 18-inning game really hurt the Dodgers. We knew that the bullpen was a problem, and Toronto, the better team yesterday, and you got to give some credit to Trey Usavich, who had another great start for them.
Yeah, the Blue Jays managed to win games 4 and 5 in less time than the Dodgers took to win game 3. So, yeah, game 3 was over 6.5 hours, and the combined time of games 4 and 5 were less than around over 5 hours, but not more than 6. So, but yeah, that ended up being the only winner on the Equinox parlay yesterday. But did get a plus 185 price there, so it was good. And yeah, good for me to get to root against the Dodgers, and they don't look good right now. Their lineup looks all kind of messed up, and they're going to need another performance from Yamamoto as he has his last 2 times out.
So that is the starter for tomorrow for the Dodgers. Do we know who's going for the Blue Jays?
It should be the same thing as game 2. It should be Gausman versus Yamamoto.
Okay.
Let me make sure.
Yeah, we'll break that down tomorrow,
Yes.
10 a.m. in our morning show, as we always do. And then Football Frenzy later on a Friday. So.
That one right now, it is Yamamoto versus Gausman. Dodgers minus 145, plus 130 on the buyback. Totals at 7.5 flat.
Looks like there's already been some Dodgers money because I don't think they opened it quite that high. But this was a potential elimination game. Nobody expected the Dodgers to be in this spot, but should be a good one. It's been a great series. I'm looking forward to it. And are you still in the camp? You still think we're getting a game 7, or you think Toronto can wrap it up tomorrow? Sorry, we'll break it down tomorrow.
Yeah,
but
no.
just curious because we both thought we'd have a game 7.
Yeah, I mean, we thought we'd get. We knew the Blue Jays would have to win at least last night or tomorrow night in order to get that game 7. So, I mean, right now I don't necessarily care if there's a game 7, but I would love to see it. More baseball pushing into November. But yeah, for right now, nothing for me in this game.
Well, let's go into tonight's action. 3 football games that we have. Of course, the Ravens and the Dolphins, and then 2 college football games on a Thursday, which is rare. And it's also rare, Ryan, that we have 3 road teams that are the favorite. Let's start off with the National Football League here. The Ravens are a 7.5-point favorite over the Dolphins. Both of them coming off a much-needed win. It's kind of about which one you take more from. The Falcons, of course, Kirk Cousins got the start there, and the Dolphins took advantage. Tua looked like the old Tua, found Waddle. And on the other side, it looks like Lamar Jackson will get the start today, and that's why you're seeing such a high spread here at 7.5. First glance, anything you like in this one?
No, not really. Going into last week, the Bears-Ravens game, we'd kind of questioned whether or not Lamar was playing, and I was saying the Ravens had a short week, so they should rest him against the Bears in order to get this game, not having to play 2 games in 5 days, which is ultimately what they did and should be the right play. But with that being said, the Dolphins, every single member of that organization is fighting for their job right now. So you're going to get a fight out of the Fins tonight. And the Ravens are doing the same, trying to prove that they are in playoff contention and are not pretenders and are going to follow their MVP quarterback's lead. So this game, I don't really have a play on. I would lean to the Fins plus the 7.5, but it is a Mike McDaniel-led team, and they have looked bad in several points during his tenure as head coach, so I can't confidently play the 7.5. It's really kind of just find a ways to get props to get plays in this one.
I'm with you. And I do think that 7.5 is a little too high. I made it 5.5, so that's a lean to taking the points here with the dog. But just the pre interviews we've seen from Lamar Jackson, very excited to be back, and he says he's 100% ready to go. So I think there's a lot of energy there from Baltimore, and if they can get this one, their schedule does get a little bit softer where they can pile up a couple wins there. So I'm going to stay off of it. I'm with you, though. maybe looking for some props in this one, and kind of want to go towards Lamar Jackson, making sure, though, of course, that he is going to play because it was a last-minute scratch in the last game. So to lean that way, here's our props that we have up at the South Point right now for tonight's game. But that's really it for me, kind of looking at Lamar Jackson's rushing, maybe passing yards here. Anything prop-wise that jumps out?
Yeah, in terms of Lamar Jackson passing, I don't really know how to play this market tonight because you don't really know what to expect from him. You don't know if they're going to go full rushing attack and relying on Derrick Henry, Keaton Mitchell. I don't expect them to be pushing the field and be throwing a ton. So I would more be leaning to the unders on the completions and the yardage. But it's just over it's 235.5 and 21.5 completions. So
a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah,
it's a tough game.
It's a really tough one, just because both of these teams do grand scheme need this game.
Now, we've seen the Ravens defense. We've seen the holes getting a little bit healthier, but not completely. Do we think we're going to get points? I know Matt Neverett, he really liked the over, and looking at my numbers, they definitely lean to the over as well. I made it 55, but what are we thinking? Are the Dolphins going to be able to score in this one, and are we going to get over 51?
Well, I mean, as we've seen on Chris Andrews' defensive and offensive efficiency ratings, the Baltimore Ravens have been a bottom 2 team in the NFL in both offensive and defensive efficiency the last 5 weeks of the season, really the entire season, but especially since losing Lamar. So absolutely, there's unlimited potential for points, and you kind of seen that with the total going from opening at 50 now to 51. Not a huge move, just 1 point, but did go up and no movement back down. So the public definitely with you and Matt there to the over.
And no buyback from the Sharps to really take the under in that one. Let's keep it moving here. Let's go to college football. It is ironic because, as I mentioned, all road favorites and all high totals for all 3 of our football games. Yep. Whether it's the NFL or college. And I agree with all of it. This first matchup here, Marshall's played really well. They've won 4 of their last 5, and they've really done it offensively. They're looking at their last 5 games. They've scored 38, 42, 51 in a loss to Louisiana, 48 and 40. So offensive power there. That is why we're seeing such a high total. And on the other side with Coastal Carolina, another one with uncertainties because we did have a quarterback go out, and then the backup helped to lead them to their last 2 victories. But now they should be getting their starter back. So makes it a little tough to handicap here. I think all these numbers are right. 6.5, 55.5. So I'm going to pass on this first college game, but there's something I like in the second one. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to be passing in both these college games, but really kind of you made the note of all basically touchdown road favorites in football today are on the gridiron. If you, depending on where you shop around to, you can get a 5.5 in the Tulane UTSA game. You can get a 6.5 in this Marshall Coastal Carolina game, and you can get a 7.5 in the Baltimore Miami game. So we have a little bit of a ladder there, and that brings me to my point of our poll is going with a ladder tonight in tonight's Thursday night football game. Which receiver will go over their receptions prop? Kind of laddering. So Rashad Bateman would need 3 or more. Malik Washington would need 4 or more. Jalen Waddle would need 5 or more. And Zay Flowers would need 6 or more. So Rashad Bateman over 2.5 plus 115. Malik Washington over 3.5 minus 130. Jalen Waddle over 4.5 minus 140. Zay Flowers over 5.5 plus 110. All available here at the South Point. But to get back to your question, talking about the college football game tonight between Marshall and Coastal Carolina, it would be more so a look at the favorite in this one, but both of these teams are fighting for spots at the top of their conference, or trying to get to the top of their conference. So no official play for there for me.
Very efficient. We already have 2 polls so far in just 47 minutes in, so I like it, and appreciate everybody jumping in and responding there. I'm passing on that first one. I do like something in the second one, and I do like the points with the dog here. UTSA at home, getting points against Tulane, and I know it's a little bit of a tricky spot because Tulane has just 1 loss on the year, and that was to Ole Miss. So very good team there. Retzlaff, the quarterback, came over from BYU, has had a great year. But on the other side, I think UTSA being a little undervalued. Now, they did go up against North Texas and lost that one 55-17, but that was on the road. So I think they can hang in this one. Owen McCowan, quarterback for them, 12 touchdowns, just 2 INTs on the year. I like that ratio. And at 54, I actually like the over. And if you look at the games at home for UTSA, they've all been very high scoring. So I think we're going to get points here. I actually think I like the over even more than taking the 6 here. If it was 7, I would like the dog more. But I like over 54 in this one. I think we're going to see points from both sides, and not too concerned with the defenses really slowing anyone down.
Well, those are both a little contradictory to the moves in this one. It opened 55.5 down now to 54, so you're getting best price in terms of where this opened, and opened 3.5 for Tulane, but now to 6.
Yeah.
So a lot of Tulane steam and the under.
And I don't really mind going against it so much. I shouldn't say that, because usually it's sharps that are moving those totals under or over. But going against that Tulane steam kind of worries me, that maybe there's something I'm missing there in why they like the road team so much to cover these numbers. So I'm going to go with over on the board today for that game. But
Which, I mean, you can't be faulted for going against where numbers move in these early week games. I mean, these are short rest spot, or some of these teams might only play early week games, but typically could be short rest spots and not necessarily fully prepared, and things could just not go how the teams planned on it, and you might get just funky, quirky games, and we kind of seen that earlier this week. But
we've seen it a couple weeks in a row now, honestly, with these middle of the week college football games. So that is a good point there. Well, before we get out of here, let's touch on hockey. Kind of went through the macro version, and now we've got 11 games on the board. Do you want to start with the poll and where everybody is, who they think is going to cover the puck line tonight?
Yeah, so asking with Eddie O which of his former teams will cover the puck line tonight. And our viewers went with Eddie O, saying the Penguins will get it done on the road in Minnesota, plus the puck and a half, minus 170. I think he was kind of tempted at taking the Pens minus a puck and a half. And if you want to flip that there, that would be over $3, depending on where you shop from. But yeah, so Penguins plus the puck and a half on the road in Minnesota tonight.
If not, the reverse puck line, at least on the money line, right? Because he's saying they would keep it close and some, so could potentially win that outright. I got to agree with that. Are we sticking with Pittsburgh? Are you?
Yeah. The Wild have not looked good to start this year, and the Pens are fighting. They've got the old guys that are towards the end of their career and don't want to go out at the bottom. So they're a very competitive team in Pittsburgh.
Taking a small piece there on the money line, maybe that puck or 1.5 there, minus 175 though is a pretty juicy price there. But 2 games I'm looking at today. I mean, really, it's kind of a tough slate. Sabres at Bruins. I think all those numbers are right. It's pretty much a pick 'em there. Leaned to the under, but it looks like Buffalo's finally getting Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and I think him and Jeremy Swayman are very good goalies, but I don't know what we're going to get in this first one. Okay, maybe I do have the wrong goalie there. So nothing for me. I'm going to pass. Uncertainty there. I don't know who is getting the start. Flames, Senators, very big favorite, the Sens. So nothing I can really do there. Don't want to jump in on Calgary, who is also struggling to start the season. But I do like this first one, or this next one. And it's my first game here. Rotation number 5 and 6, the Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Slow starts for these two, and I'm going to go with the under in the first period, under 1.5. I think 6 is probably the right number, but the way these two are struggling to score, I don't hate the full game under either, but I'm going to take a shot here under 1.5 between those two. So of the first 3, maybe 5 games, Ryan, anything jump off the board to you?
It will be in that last game between the 2 Canadian teams, Calgary and Ottawa, the Flames and the Senators. We've been fading the Flames this entire season, and we're going right back to it. I'll be playing the Senators on the puck line. We know that they can score. They're coming off a loss on the road, Yeah, coming off the Blackhawks loss, 7-3. So back-to-back games involving a 7-goal scoring team for the Senators. I think we're getting goals in this one tonight. Total's at 6 with slight juice to the over. I'm taking that over in Ottawa tonight.
So you like the over and the puck line with the Senators there?
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good play. I really do. Because looking at it, my numbers lean to the under, but I was looking at the Senators are scoring. The Flames are giving up goals. So I was thinking maybe Senators team total, but.
Should be a lot of open ice in that game tonight.
Very good. So that's getting through 3. We got the Predators and the Flyers. Everything looks good there. Islanders and Canes, Penguins and Wild. We already touched on that one. And then looking at our last 5, are you doing anything? We've got Canucks and Blues or with Chicago Blackhawks and the Jets here.
St. Louis did have a really disappointing timeout. Really, to start the season, they've been really disappointing. So seeing them at -150 against the Nucks tonight, I'll get a little closer to puck drop, but I might be playing the Nucks in St. Louis tonight. And then going to Chicago at Winnipeg. Asked Eddie about this one. Should be a very emotional game on one, for at least the fans in this one. Jonathan Toews playing for his hometown team now in Winnipeg, but was the captain of the Blackhawks for over a decade, won 3 Stanley Cups there. So first game against his former team. I think this will be a tough-fought match. I think the Blackhawks are going to want to fight against their former captain. So I will be playing them plus that goal and a half, -130 tonight in Winnipeg. Do you have anything on the other 3? Rangers, Edmonton, or maybe Devils, Sharks?
Just one more. And I'm looking at New Jersey here and kind of going up against the Sharks, fading them, and the Devils coming off of a loss. Very impressed with how they are playing right now. So I am going to go puck line -1.5 here for New Jersey, +115. But curious because the Blackhawks fans usually travel really well, but that's not an easy spot for them to get to go into Winnipeg, but that is going to be a big game for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hawks fans travel well just because I think I saw on some post by Barstool recently, like the Blackhawks have the most fans of any team in the NHL. Their original 6 team, they have fans all over.
Right.
So, yeah.
That does make sense. Because there's a lot even here in Vegas.
But I mean, in Canada, they live off hockey. So when you're going into those Canadian buildings, they're going to be all whatever team you're playing. And this is the start of a road trip for the Hawks. Got 6 straight games at Winnipeg, at Edmonton, at Seattle, at Vancouver, at Calgary, and then at Detroit before they finally come home or go home back to Chicago November 12th. So 2 straight weeks on the road for the Hawks here, and it starts tonight in Winnipeg. I think they'll keep it tight.
A lot of good action to watch tonight between the 3 football games, a lot of hockey, couple NBA games. Did anything jump out to the board to you before we take a break? Because then we will I'll set up my whiteboard. You can get ready for trivia.
Yeah, I tried to go against the home dog yesterday in Boston, and they ended up absolutely bludgeoning the Cavaliers. Granted, I didn't know Jaylen Brown was going to be playing in that one. He was a game-time decision. But going to be the same thing tonight. I know I played the Warriors earlier this year as they were a home dog against the Lakers. But the Warriors are 3 in Milwaukee tonight against the Bucks. I'll be going with the Bucks in that one.
Okay, very good. Taking the 3 with the Bucks at home here. So let's take a quick break. On the other side, we'll give out our plays for tonight, and then we'll wrap it up and any other information you might need to know, because it is a busy day here at the South Point studio. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts, Eric. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
If you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific. Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
All right, final segment here on a Thursday, Sports by the Book from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Couple things we got to get to, but first, our City Light Shine
Ticker trivia.
trivia. Yes, thank you. Ticker trivia. Ryan, what do we have? And did we have any correct answers?
So we had a football question for you today, Thursday Night Football edition, but doesn't necessarily feature either team, just football. On this date in sports history, October 30th, 2016. So less than 10 years ago, the then Oakland Raiders established a new record for the most penalties by a single team in an NFL game with 23. What is the record for most penalties in a single NFL game between both teams? And that, of course, was on November 25th, 1951. The Cleveland Browns and my Chicago Bears established the record that still stands today with the most penalties being 37 combined between both teams. The Browns had 21 and the Bears had 16 back in 1951.
You said, of course. Did you know that already?
No, I did not.
I thought maybe you knew if the Bears held the record with another team, but
no, I did not know that. But just kind of in Bears fashion, they can't stop committing penalties, and it goes back apparently to 1951.
Well,
maybe even further.
In the Browns fashion. So
yeah,
there you go. A couple notes. We hit all the polls, right?
Yes.
We know what everybody picked there.
Well, we did. So the results of the final one for tonight's Thursday Night Football, the receptions prop. 50% of our viewers think Rashad Bateman, they went with the fewest, will record at least 3 receptions.
Okay. Question is he going to get in the end zone tonight with Lamar Jackson back? So we will see.
Derrick Henry's minus 250.
Wow.
All right, I don't think he's that heavy, but he's definitely over $2 to score a touchdown tonight.
He wasn't. Oh, yeah, he was on the list. There is a list of top 10 who should score this weekend, and I think he was 4th on that list. So
yeah, I mean,
this makes sense.
Derrick
Josh
Henry,
Jacobs
Josh
was
Jacobs,
one, though. Yeah.
Those have been automatic touchdowns pretty much every week,
yeah,
dating back to last year, even before then. But
and now Jonathan Taylor, add that to the list.
Yes,
definitely. Okay, but today we've got a couple specials. You got Gone Racing. Just look out for that one coming to you soon on the YouTube channel. Race Day Las Vegas, the Breeders' Cup Special, 3 p.m. That will be live on their YouTube page. Here is a nice little brochure there, 3 p.m. And then remember, Ralph Rocco tomorrow will be doing a seminar here at the South Point. So if you are in Vegas and you want to come down, there's a lot of great parties happening here at the South Point, including the viewing party upstairs with a ton of seats. So get here, you know, $1.50 hot dogs, great drink specials. So the best spot to watch the Breeders' Cup this weekend. Football Frenzy tomorrow, 12 p.m. We'll be back. Myself, Vinny, and Chris Andrews all at the desk. And Ryan and I will be back at 10 a.m. to go through everything other than football. Because, of course, we'll have NBA, hockey, and there are a couple college football games we will get to tomorrow morning as well.
World Series Game 6.
And the potential elimination game. That is correct.
Yep.
So looking forward to that one. Hopefully everybody has a great betting day. It'll be interesting to see the Ravens and the Dolphins, what we get from those two desperate teams. Just 2 wins each. So enjoy the day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you to the crew, everybody behind the scenes. For Ryan McCormick, I'm Alex White. This has been Sports by the Book. We'll see you again tomorrow.